same usual. Let's start with the first knuckle press. So you are going to bring out your blocks, hands directly in front of the blocks. Then you're going to press your palms and thumbs off the floor, lower down. And as you're doing so, especially for some of you with hyperextended elbow, I need you to not allow your forearms to be in contact with the blocks. Yeah. So pressing up and down, knees further back is harder, knees closer is easier. Take note of that too. Okay, ready? And start now. So with the blocks positioned directly behind the forearms, you're not going to allow your forearms to be touching the block. This is to ensure that you are in a forward lean. You are kind of stacked. Carries, lean forward more. Yeah. Five more seconds. Okay, good. That was the first exercise. Second exercise, gonna bring the block away, come into plank position. Then you're gonna shift your shoulders back behind the wrist and lift fingertips, palms off. Keep making an effort, try to lift as high as possible until you feel tension around back of the hand and top of forearms. Okay, let's go and start now. You want to try to lift it as high as possible. So yes, your hands are on the floor, but you want to see that there is a 90-degree angle, or at least aim towards it, a 90-degree angle from the back of the hands to the top of the forearms. So keep trying to lift it as much as possible. Okay, good. Okay, that was the second exercise. Then third one, bringing back the blocks again. I need all of you to stay far away from the wall so that you don't restrict how much you can move. So plank position. Shoulders on top of the wrist. You're going to rotate elbow pits to the front for a start. Then you're going to walk forward as much as possible until the hips is on top of the blocks. Then shift back into plank. Forward, hips on top of the blocks. Then back to plank. Okay, let's keep going like this. Ready? And start now. So as mentioned, walk forward all the way until the hips is on top of the blocks if possible. Stay there for about 2 seconds and shift back into plank position. Good. Some of you should be walking forward even more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, good. One more round. Back to your first knuckle press. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, and begin now. Ten more seconds. Okay, remove the blocks away, your plank position, shifting into 90-degree wrist extension. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, begin now. Seven more seconds. Okay, good. Then bring the blocks back from plank to your plunge lean position. So plunge lean, I'm looking for hips on top of the block. Let's try to aim towards that. Ready? 3, 2, 1, begin now. Yeah. Do make an effort to rotate the elbow pits to the front if you are able to. Terry, we have moved on to the plank to plunge lean exercise. Just to remind. 10 more seconds.
Actually, I did the plank plunge just now.
Oh, okay, understand. Okay. Okay, good. Hey, next one. Shoulder stuff, the same usual. Your first stretch, just to remind everyone, will be hands on the wall, knees together and round the spine. And from here, look at the floor, push armpit towards the floor with a rounded spine position. Okay, then I want you to give small pulses at the end range. Okay, let's go. In 3, 2, 1, and begin now. So round spine would mean tucking the tailbone under and exaggerate the tuck in the tailbone. I want you to feel tension in the abs because that is also associated with a round spine position, and pulse at the end position. When you pulse, you have to feel small movements around the shoulder, not just nodding your head up and down, just to remind. Okay, then second exercise. Coming back to this. So legs together, get into hollow body position, then lift up the block and hold. Okay. I would like you to pulse at your end position and begin in 3, 2, 1, start now. Make sure your arms is straight, chin on the floor. Good. Three, 2, 1. Good. Then last one, bring your block out. You're going to start by squatting on the block, hands about 1 hand distance between wrist and the block. Then you're going to get into a pike position. So shifting forward and back, just to remind, will look like this. Keep your cheek close to the shoulders, lean forward, and get your toes to be as light as possible. Stay there for about 2 seconds, and come back to starting position. All right? Lean forward until your toes becomes light. Stay there for 2 seconds, then come back to starting position. So when I mean toes light, it doesn't mean you lift all 4 toes and keep your big toe on the floor. This doesn't mean much. You're just strengthening your big toe. You're not shifting your hips over. So make sure you make an effort to lean. Ready? 3, 2, 1, begin now. You have to position your hands pretty close to the block. If you are too far, it's going to be difficult to stack the hips on top. You will have to lean much more. So positioning the hands close to the blocks will actually help to make it easier to stack the hips on top. I want you to lean as much as possible until you feel very little pressure between toes and block. Okay, good. Back onto shoulder stretch. Kneeling position. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, and begin now. round spine as much as possible. Again, that means tucking tailbone. That means squeezing abs. Good. Switch over to your prone position. Okay, ready? Lift up and pulse at end position in 3, 2, 1, begin now. Fifteen more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, sweet. Come back to the pike shift on the block. Last exercise. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1, and begin now. So even if you don't have perfect hamstring flexibility, you need to bend your knees a little bit, that is okay. The main idea here is to shift the hips on top of the hands. So you have to make an effort to lean forward through the sternum, through the hips, to get the hips on top of the hands. Last 5. Okay, good. Okay, let's move on. Michelle, you will proceed on your own. I want to see 1 minute of straight handstand, 1 minute of tuck handstand, just one set of each. And I want you to do 15 straight to tuck. Up to you how you want to break it up. Okay, the rest of you, we are going to start with this. Let's go with about 2 block distance from the wall. I think that should be good distance for y'all to work with. Now, we're gonna go one set on each side. What I mean is this: we're gonna come into a tuck position and we're gonna extend left leg out, and we're gonna stay in this position. So a few things to take note. The shoulder stuff should be quite straightforward. I keep reminding it a lot of times. So push the ears to the shoulders, look between the thumbs, and I want you to shift your torso over until you get weight around fingertips. As for the foot, I need to be pushing through the foot initially. If I don't, I end up like this, you see? So I'm not stacked. So I need to push through the foot to move the hips on top of the hands. All right, so I'll carefully push until I feel I can no longer do so anymore, and I'm at the balance point, and I stay here 30 seconds. Okay, so let's start. Left leg extended up, and your right leg is still tucked. So be wary about how much you are extending the left leg, yeah? So left leg extended, right leg tucked. In 3, 2, we are holding for 30 seconds. 1, begin now. Your right foot should be pointed. Carry your leg is too far over. Yeah, there we go. Point your feet. Carries point your feet for the right leg. And I just stay there. 7 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Rest. Okay. I'll talk about the foot positioning in a short while. small matter, but it's a bit of detail that might matter a bit if you don't have good enough body awareness to shift. So otherwise, the second exercise I'm going to pair with, we are going to be working on balance in this kind of a half tuck-ish position. I'm just going to have you spend a bit of time on hamstring stuff as well. So I leave it up to you. The highest height is definitely the easiest because it props you up way pretty high. Second height is second easiest, and so on and so forth. Now, we are going to be doing leg kicks. So make sure you don't place too much weight on the hands. Most of the weight is on the supporting leg. You're going to kick up and down 30 times on one leg and switch 30 times on the other. All right. You don't have to kick very high. The main thing here is to kick until you feel stretched in the supporting leg. Then you can just come out of it. Then repeat. Yeah. So I'll give you about a little more than 1 minute to try and finish 30 on each side at your own pace. Yeah. And start now. So if I ask you to remove your hands now, you should still be able to support yourself through your supporting leg. So Xingyi, I think your hands positioned too far in front. I want you to shift back a bit. That's what I meant. Yeah. The hands is just there to stabilize. It's not there to have you lean forward too much. 30 on each side. Once you're done, just sit around so I know you're done and ready to move on. Ignore the timer that just marks the 1 minute mark. If you haven't finished, just finish up. Okay. So I keep mentioning to point the foot. When I mean point foot, I'm referring to the foot that's against the wall. So this time round, you're gonna switch. Let me recall. You're gonna extend your right leg, all right, and your left foot is on the wall. So I want you to point the left foot. Don't have it tucked under. Yeah. So when you have it tucked under and you can't control it very well, you may very well just push yourself over a little too much without yourself knowing. Yeah. So point the foot. Press from the tops of the foot to try and shift your hips over. Then once you're at the balance point, you'll feel that there's quite little pressure between the left foot and the wall. Stay around there. Okay? So yes, point foot. Let's go. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, and begin now. Xingyi, your legs can tuck lower. That's way too high. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, good. Hey, same thing, 30 reps on each side. I'll just give you a little more than 1 minute, same usual, to try and finish up. Michelle, let's start with tougher, or what I think is a tougher progression first. So we're going to start with tuck. So now, head in stuff. So head in, I want you to peel from tuck with the toes on the wall to your deepest position. Oops. Hold 1, 2, 3. Then return back to the wall. Peel to your deepest position. 1, 2, 3. Return back to the wall. All right, with 1 block distance minimum. If you want to start further away, know that further away is a little tougher, so you decide. So I want to see 15 repetition in total for tuck Then after that, 15 repetition for straight. So when I mean straight, also the same thing. Q to balance 1, 2, 3. Okay? That's why you are training. That's why you are here in class. Must achieve a 3 seconds and be able to return back to the wall for it to count as a rep. The rest of you, I think you're almost done. So I'll just wait a while more. Okay, good. Now, the reason why I got you to hold in those positions at the start is because I want your L shape to look like that, basically. Let me turn on the metronome. So we are working with an L shape handstand, but I do want you to have your bottom leg slightly bent just because I want to prioritize more on keeping the knees close to the chest. Okay, just keep that in mind for now. So we are going to position our hands about one short block distance from the wall. So the long end of the block will be against the wall, and you're just going to place your hands directly behind. Okay, so just now we started, let me recall, left leg. No, wait, right leg, sorry. Right leg down. So you're going to pull your right knee close to the chest first. Then you're going to extend as much as possible. I prioritize depth over straightening. So I don't want to see this. This is way too high for me. So to repeat one more time, knees to the chest first, then try to straighten as much as possible. So today's balance practice, you're going to balance from this position. Bare minimum of 2 seconds or more, then be able to return back to the wall for it to count as a successful round. Are we clear? And don't switch leg yet. We are going to do all your balance work with the right leg down first. Then later on, after about 5-10 minutes later, I will prompt for you to switch the other side. Okay? Same thing. Let's go. The priority here is to make sure the knee stays close to the chest. The right knee stays close to the chest. So Terry, your right foot has to stay away from the wall. Good. Li Qing must go back to the wall for it to count. Same for Li Kiet. Carries that looks fine. Xing Yi, you must extend your right knee, your right leg. Yeah. So tuck it knees to chest first, then you try to extend. I show you again. Knees to chest first, then try to extend. The main thing here is to maintain tension around the right hip flexor. Then you try to extend as much as you can. Okay. So same for Terry. Terry, I'm seeing this. I don't want to see this. Your right foot must stay away from the wall, knees to chest. So you must feel your upper thigh touching ribs. Stay away from the wall for your right foot. So then the key thing here is that as you're trying to balance in this L-shaped position with your right knee bent, know that the key thing here is to maintain tension around the right hip flexor. That helps you to keep the legs in place and not have it move around too much. Focus on peeling from the left foot instead. The right leg stays stationary. It shouldn't be used as a tool to help you balance. Not supposed to. So just remind on the same few other things that I would do for balance. Make sure you push ears to the shoulders. Make sure you are looking between the thumbs. Make sure you are working through the fingertips and the forearms in order to create balance. If your fingertips don't work, if your forearms don't tense up, your fingernails don't turn white, you're not balancing at all. Simple as it. You must return back to the wall for it to count as a successful round. Just to remind. So then this is a practice of body awareness as well. How to keep the right leg stationary in place while you are peeling just from the left foot. That's the tricky bit. So you have to learn to control. Very good, Likit. So you'll be good to remind in case anyone forgets. In order to return back to the wall, you return back to the wall by releasing the squeeze from the fingers. Because the harder you squeeze, the more you pull yourself away from the wall. So to be able to return back to the wall, you simply release the squeeze a little and push from the shoulders to bring your left foot back on the wall. I'm going to have some level of trust that you are doing this properly and you have clocked in at least some amount of rounds of at least 2 seconds balance. 2 seconds is like the bare minimum for me. If you're not even making it to 2 seconds, you're not balancing at all. Simple as that. So for those of you that are going up, you can now switch to left leg down. All right, we're going to switch legs now. So if you're upside down, just continue. Yes, Li Cheng, that was good. All right, so I repeat, if you're upside down, just continue. Otherwise, we are now going to switch to left leg down, right leg on the wall as a starting position, okay? So left knee to the chest first, feel tension around the left hip flexor, then you're going to extend your left leg as much as you can manage. But the key thing here is to maintain tension around the left hip flexor. I'm using that as a way for you to maintain your left leg in place.
Zhiqian, asking you a stupid question.
Yes.
How do you squeeze your hip flexors?
Can you stand up straight first? Stand up straight. All right. So standing up straight, can you just tuck your left knee to your chest? All right. Do you feel stuff around here? Yes. So you're gonna bring the left knee to the chest until you feel stuff around here. This is the point that I want you to feel tension at. It is as simple as that. All right. So you're gonna do the same equivalent when you're upside down. Okay. So Upside down, left knee down, tuck knees to chest until you feel tension around that point that you felt when you were standing on your foot. Then try to extend your right leg a little bit. Do I make sense? Yeah. So with most shapes that require you to bring your legs down to a horizontal point, I would ask for you to make use of tension around hip flexor to lock the leg in place so that you don't let it flimps around too much. Yes, Terry, this is pretty damn good. Yes. Yeah, but too much. So left leg stays stationary. I think that's a good start. So left leg stays stationary. You only extend to a point where you can still keep it there in place. It's not supposed to pull you down.
So when you say too much, you mean I extended my leg too much that it weighed me down?
Yes, correct. So it literally just brought you down in this manner. Initially, it looks okay. Then as you extended it to straight, it literally just pulled you back down to standing. Not supposed to do that, yeah? So because eventually the goal is this full L shape, but I'm getting you to extend into the L shape through this manner. Does that make sense? So this is technically still an L shape. L shape from the top leg to the bottom upper thigh. I'm not too concerned about how straight the leg is for now. Aye, good save, Li Cheng. Very good. Yes, Harry. Yeah, okay, stay there. Try to balance. Yes, good. Go back to the wall. that was good. I think that was good. But now be able to return back to the wall after 2 seconds. So that takes practice, but I think that's a good start. The rest of you are doing
So when
fine.
I want to return back to the wall, I lean into my fingers.
When you want to return back to the wall, you stop squeezing the fingers. Know that fingers causes you to come away from the wall. All right. So keeping that in mind, once you are done balancing, you're going to loosen the squeeze on the fingers and push from the shoulders to return back to the wall. Simple as that. Yeah. Let's give yourself about 1 or 2 more minutes. I expect all of you to finish at least 2 more rounds before I move on. Yes, Terry. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, correct. Good, Yi Cheng. Once my clock hits 12:37, I will move on. So those of you that are sitting around, 1 more round, please. By the time you are done, the clock should have hit 37. Okay. Okay, see, you can rest. Rest. Okay. Okay, sweet. All of you should be familiar with this by now. I have definitely gone through this much more frequently in this period of time. So I will just simply instruct and you'll get to work after this. Depending on your level of progress with your entry into handstand, you would either practice. So let me just show with one block, yeah? So about one hand distance between fingertips and the wall. How far you're going to place the blocks to you may be subjective, but I would say closer is better. All right. So I am looking for either a standing split press into your L handstand, stay there for 3 seconds in the wall L handstand position, and gently lower back down onto the block. Or if you can't quite press yet, your L handstand entry is still not very good, then you practice on that. Jump up, hold here. 1, 2, 3, and come down. Okay, so ideally, I would like you to catch into the L position immediately. So when I mean immediately, let me just shift things aside so I can just demonstrate the example. I don't want to see this. Whoa, I don't want your legs to fly up like this. So as accurately as possible, I want you to land like this, which is why earlier on I made you do your L shape with a slightly bent leg, just so that you can get more feedback around the lower legs hip flexor. So I want you to look for this sensation as soon as possible. Do I make sense? So keeping that in mind, most of you, if not all of you, should have done this before. So if you need to press from 2 blocks, then press from 2 blocks. If you are pressing, the higher it is, the easier it is. So I want to have you clock in 10 repetitions on each side with your appropriate level of progression. Okay, let's go. So get up to the L handstand position, stay against the wall for 3 seconds, then come down and repeat. So Michelle, transition head in straight first, lower down to your lowest tuck position and be able to stay for 3 seconds, then be able to go back up to straight. I am more particular about control. So it will only count as a rep if you can lower down 3 seconds, go back up 3 seconds while still having head in. Bare minimum of 8 repetition up to 16, because I'm not sure how long you will take or how quickly you will do. No using the head, and you're going to try to avoid swinging from the top leg, whichever side you started from. So no using the head to press against the wall, no using top leg to swing. That's the 2 main things I want you to not do. If you understand how to press and you can press, then try to press. If you need to jump a little bit, for today, I'm not too particular. Just clock in the reps for now. It's very straightforward whether you can get into the L shape and stay, or whether you fail and you just barely tap the wall and you fall down. So Xingyi, technically that's a failed rep. Just to remind. So that's why I said I want you to be able to stay for 3 seconds, because I want you to accurately be able to get up to the end position. Yeah. Carry, use at least one block, because I need to also train on your precision in going up and coming down. So I know 2 block can seem very scary because you are jumping from a standing split to the L handstand. So the block still is still there to make sure you control. Once you are here, I want you to make sure you slowly land back on the block and not just let go and okay, I'm done, I'm ready to stand up. That's the control I'm looking for. Even if you're using one block, like I said, it's served for everyone else. It serves as a kind of a tool for you to be more precise with coming down. Once you're done with 10 on each side, let me know, and we'll move on to either the second or the last bit of stuff, depending on how much time we have to spare. This is entry to handstand related strength work that I want you to clock in. So landing gently onto the wall is a bonus. I'm not too particular about that. But when you land back down onto the block, that one I want you to be gentle. Don't just crash onto the block and let the block flip over. Just give me a thumbs up. Let me know, indicate to me that you're done with 10 on each side, so I know the general progress of the class. Okay. Okay. The rest of you, let's try to finish 1 or 2 more reps, and we're gonna move on. We'll wait for the last person. Okay, good. Never mind, we'll move on. Okay, since most of us is done, I will move on from here. If you haven't finished, you can stay back after class to do. That'll be good. Let's try this for the next 5 to 10 minutes. So this is something I don't normally do, but it's just nice to explore. I want you to now stay far away from the wall. How far you want to stay from the wall is up to you. because the further you stay away from the wall, the more demanding it is on your front split flexibility. Yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing, up to you how much you want to straighten the legs. So before I talk any further, let me just show so that it makes sense. So from here, up to you. Wait, let me switch my legs. Up to you whether you want to balance like this in sort of a stacked leg position, or if you want to go into a full front split. I think this looks somewhere like it. Yeah, if you want to do a full front split, you can. Yeah. So normally when you're trying to balance in your L shape, for the most part, although I don't want you to, you might be using your bottom leg to try and control your balance. Okay. So the idea behind this front split edge variation of balance is just to give you an additional tool to help you feel for your sense of balance, because it's kind of like a seesaw effect. With one leg behind the body and one leg in front of the body, you are kind of using the legs as a tool for you to help you catch your balance as well, for lack of a better word. Yeah. So I just want you to practice balance. If and the idea here is to hold as long as you can. So I've also gotten some feedbacks myself from others that in a front split-ish position, they find it easier to balance. I'm just gonna get you to spend a bit of time practicing on this. So to mention it, to say it one last time, up to you how far you want to start from the wall, up to you whether you want to bend the legs or fully straighten the legs. The leg is there sort of as a seesaw effect. Yeah. So use this to help you to stay up in balance. The main thing here is as long as you're pushing strong from the shoulder, you're using your fingertips to work to find balance. Just try to stay as long as possible. Let's go. I'll just turn on the metronome anyways, so that you can have something to work with to measure your balance time. So normally you don't get the opportunity to use your legs to help you find balance. Now you have the chance to, so it might probably help you be more aware of what you're doing with the legs, or using the legs to help you find balance, to feel your sense of balance. Okay, Michelle, last bit of stuff. We're gonna come back to this. So your pike press, I want it to be done consecutively like this. So you start with your toes floating off, you're gonna press up. Don't have to hold for too long, just enough to stabilize, come down, and without touching the floor, press back up again. And so on and so forth. So bare minimum is 2 consecutive repetitions. The idea here is to do consecutive reps, so bare minimum is 2. If you can do 3 or 4 per set, that would be good. So I'm looking for a total of 8 rounds. So this is where you throw your idea, the rest of you, this is where you throw the idea of your ideal alignment out of the window. Right now, it is just balancing. So if your head sticks forward, your head sticks forward. If you need to extend your leg further back, you extend your leg further back. The main thing here is to feel for balance. Feel for balance around hands, fingers, forearms. Adjust your shoulder accordingly. So you don't have to join your legs. This is a front split handstand balance. Carries don't have to scissors the leg, not supposed to. If you have the time to scissors, I rather you try to balance for like 3, 5, 10 seconds in this position. I want longer holds versus leg movements. Because eventually the idea of hand balancing is to stay there for as long as possible. Oh, good, Terry. Yes. Mm. I'm gonna give you about 2 more minutes to work with. Let's at least try one more time. Good, Terry. Once you're hanging around, just rest. You're gonna finish up with strength work. Okay, most of you are done. All of you are done. Okay, so I will just remind on this. This is simply just having an additional tool to try to find your balance. So it is the same equivalent where if you're standing on your legs, on one leg, if you have your hands out like this and you're trying to balance on your single leg, you'll find that in the initial bit where, if you recall, you are trying to learn to balance on your one leg, you're using your hands a lot to try and stabilize. So once you start putting your hands beside, suddenly it becomes so much tougher. You are either shifting from the hips, or if you're trying to keep yourself still, you will be squeezing a lot from the feet, from the calves to try to stabilize yourself in position. So this is just developing and refining a sense of balance over time, especially if you don't have a very good sense of balance and you are working with a conventional syllabus of straight handstand and stuff like that, and you don't understand how to control, then you are either just going to whip back and forth, the same idea of how you just whip heavily back and forth on single leg until you fall, or, you know, it might just be a bit of a challenging process for you to deal with in terms of figuring out your sense of balance. So right now, this is just a going out of the conventional syllabus kind of thing to let you use your legs to help you figure out how you would balance. Simple as that. Okay, enough rest, enough talk. Your final bit of strength work will be this. This is something that I keep doing nowadays. I'm going to have you position roughly about 3 block distance between your hands and the wall. I believe most of you are about my height, so 3 block will be more than enough. So from here, you are going to walk your legs down as low as possible. I mean it, as low as possible until your foot touches the skirting of the wall. Whatever is your lowest, you're going to stay there for 20 seconds. Okay? So number 1, your legs has to be straight. Number 2, you have to keep trying to maintain cheek beside the arms. And number 3, although my whole foot is on the wall, more of the weight is around toes and balls of the feet. The heels is touching, but not a lot of weight is going through it. Okay? Keep that in mind. Let's get to work. Whatever is your lowest position. Okay, like ready in 3, 2, 1, and begin now. Legs must be straight. Today I'm a bit more strict with this. Legs must be straight. Xingyi, I think you have to start further away. Yeah, way taller. So 3 blocks doesn't make this make sense for you. The rest of you, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Okay, I'm going to go for 4 more rounds. I would remind, the reason why I roughly fix about 3 block distance is because I still want your shoulders to be on top of the hands. The moment you end up like this drill doesn't make sense anymore. You're just leaning against the wall and waiting for time to pass. So I must see that your shoulders, elbows is on top of the wrist. And because you're looking at the floor, you can check for it yourself. Don't wait for me to tell you to do so. Yeah? So enough rest for you. Let's go. Round 2 out of 5. Your legs must be straight. Your shoulders, elbows must be on top of the hands. If it's not, you're wasting your time with this exercise. You will want to quickly adjust. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and begin now. So you have to make sure you shift your shoulders and elbows on top of the wrist. If you are having trouble doing so, it might be possible that you're starting a little too far away from the wall. So take note of that. And rest. Good. That's round 2. About 40 seconds break, and we got 3 more rounds to go. Stretch if you need to. Pray to the wall if you need to. Okay, like stand by. Round 3 out of 5. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and I start now. Whatever is the lowest that you can bring your foot to. Know that eventually the goal is to have your foot directly on the skirting of the wall. Your shoulders and the elbow must be on top of the hands. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Very good. 40 seconds break and 2 more rounds. Hang around a bit. You've got 15 more seconds to rest. Okay, let's stand by. Round 4 out of 5. In 3, 2, 1, and begin now. Remember, elbows must be on top of the hands. Sweet. Press. 1 minute break. Last round, and we can wrap up the class. Ten more seconds rest. You can stand by. Let's get up and we'll start in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and I start now. No matter how early I start to count, you all will just go up right in time. Too much. Make sure you're looking between the thumbs at least. That's also another gauge for me on whether you're stacked or not, from the elbows to the hands. 3, 2, 1, and press. Very nice. Good. Okay, come. Let's just stretch the wrist the other way around very quickly. Same usual reminder. I want you to cover your thumbs with your 4 fingers, and then fist is facing each other, hands on the floor, back of the hands on the floor, sorry. Then you're gonna start bent arm first so you can adjust and squeeze your hands fully and tight. And you're gonna try to straighten as much as possible while still keeping the index finger in contact with the thumbs in the fist clench position. Make sure you can join in for this. So about shoulder width apart or slightly wider than shoulder width. Then once this is easy for you, the next thing you think about doing is to increase the load placed on your hands by shifting the knees further behind. But your shoulder still has to be on top of the wrist. Eventually, we go into full plank position in this. And maybe you do single arm afterwards. Just kidding. Just stay in position. Make sure index finger is still in contact with the thumbs. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Finish. That's it. Thank you very much. If you have questions, ask. Otherwise, you're done. Thanks, teacher. Bye.
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.